Hello, friends and followers of the stormy forests of the north. We dive into the world of Slavic mythology, filled with thunder, ancient oak trees, and the secrets of the underworld. Life is shaped by the delicate balance between the golden axe of Perun, ruler of the heavens, and the tricks of Veles, lord of the underworld. Today, we explore the eternal battle between the eagle atop the world tree and the serpent at its roots. The goddesses who weave fate, and mysterious spirits like Leshy. Every storm is the sound of a divine reckoning. Please let me know where you're listening from. I'm very curious. In the beginning there was nothing but the vast primordial void, this emptiness. However, was not silent, it was pregnant with potential, a canvas waiting to be painted with creation. The Slavic cosmogony, or creation myth, speaks of this dark, formless expanse as the birthplace of all that was to come. Out of this nothingness emerged Rod the primordial. God of creation, fate, and kinship, he was the first, the uncreated, the eternal. Rod was unlike the later gods who would take on more distinct forms and functions. He was the cosmic egg, the seed of all that was to sprout both divine and mortal. His essence permeated the universe, binding it together. It is said that Rod existed in a cosmic egg of sorts, floating in the endless void, his power growing and swelling inside the shell until the pressure became too great. Then, with a forceful crack, the egg shattered, and from its remains the universe was born. From this egg, the cosmos unfurled like a great tree. The heavens, the earth, and the underworld all took shape, divided into layers, much like the branches, trunk, and roots of a tree. Rod's breath filled the space between these realms, a life force that pulsed through every living thing. From this moment of creation, the fabric of reality was woven, and the cosmic struggle that would shape the world began. Central to Slavic mythology is the concept of dualism, an eternal balance between opposing forces, light and darkness, good and evil. Life and death. In their world there was no absolute triumph for either side. Instead, they were locked in a constant, dynamic struggle. This dualism manifested in the very forces that shaped the world, symbolizing the tension between chaos and order, creation and destruction. Rod, the supreme creator, was not alone in this cosmic drama. He brought forth two opposing forces that would define the fate of the universe: Bog the White, god of light and good, and Chernobog, the black god of darkness and evil. These two gods were not merely rivals, they were two sides of the same coin, representing the balance that governed the cosmos. Bog brought light, prosperity, and harmony to the world. His presence was felt in the warmth of the sun, the growth of crops, and the kindness of people. Chernobog, on the other hand, embodied the darkness, the harshness of winter, the fearsome storms, and the malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows. His was the power of destruction and chaos, a necessary counterpart to creation and order together. These forces were locked in a cosmic dance. Neither could completely dominate the other, and their conflict was reflected in the changing of the seasons, the cycle of life and death, and the ever-shifting fortunes of mortals. The slaves saw this duality everywhere, in the waxing and waning of the moon, the turning of day to night, the cycle of birth and decay. To them the world was a balance, and the struggle between Bog and Chernobog was eternal. While the clash of Bog and Chernobog dominated the mortal world, the myth of Rod stood above them as a grand cosmic tale of creation. In Slavic tradition, Rod was not a god of war, love, or the harvest. Like many later deities, he was the embodiment of all life, the original source from which every sprang. Rod's act of creation wasn't just the formation of the physical world, it was the birth of fate itself. In the ancient Slavic belief, every person's destiny was woven into the fabric of the universe at the moment of their birth, and it was Rod who held the spindle spinning the threads of fate. This is why Rod was often associated with the concept of kinship and family, for he connected all living beings through the shared thread of existence. As Rod gave birth to the universe, he also gave birth to the other gods who would rule its various realms. But in true dualistic fashion, the forces that sprang from Rod were both good and evil, harmonious and destructive. His creations were not perfect or static, they were fluid, ever-changing. In, and at times chaotic, Rod's first children were the Sarag, the god of fire, and the forge, and Mos, the goddess of fertility, earth. And women together, they shaped the earth, filled it with life, and ensured its continuity through the cycles of birth and rebirth. Sarah's fiery energy gave life its spark, while Moses' Uring essence allowed it to grow and thrive. They were followed by other deities, each taking on different aspects of the universe: water, wind, animals, the dead, all under Rod's watchful eye. But creation was not without its challenges. The forces of chaos embodied in Chernobog and his malevolent creatures constantly sought to disrupt the delicate balance. The early universe was a battleground where the gods fought to maintain order against the encroaching forces of destruction. It is in these early battles that many of the great Slavic myths take root, where heroes, gods, and spirits alike fought to protect the fragile world that Rod had created from the birth of the universe. To the constant battle between light and dark, Slavic mythology presents a rich and intricate cosmogony. It speaks to the ancient belief that life itself is a balance, a delicate dance between creation and destruction, good and evil, and it is in this tension that the Slavic gods and their myths find their power as they navigate the eternal struggle that defines the world. As we journey deeper into these ancient tales, we will encounter the gods, creatures, and spirits that shaped the beliefs of the Slavic people. But it all begins here with Rod the First, creator, and the dualistic forces that shaped their world. As the Slavic world unfolded and the cosmos grew in complexity, the gods rose to govern its many aspects. Each deity had a role to play, representing the forces of nature, life, death, and everything in between. These gods were not distant, aloof beings. They were deeply intertwined with the day-to-day lives of the Slavic people, guiding their seasons, protecting their livestock, and influencing their fates. The Slavic pantheon was vast, but at its core were several major gods, each with their own rich histories and legends. At the head of the Slavic pantheon stood Perun, the god of thunder and lightning, and the mighty chief of the gods, often depicted as a fierce, bearded warrior carrying an axe or hammer. Perun was the embodiment of raw, untamable power. His voice was the thunder that rolled across the sky, and his wrath was seen in the violent storms that swept the land. Perun ruled the heavens from his seat atop the world tree, a massive oak whose branches stretched into the sky and whose roots dug deep into the underworld. From this vantage point, he could survey all creation, watching over both gods and men. His weapon of choice was his thunderbolt, which he would hurl from the sky to strike down his enemies. And in Slavic folklore, a lightning strike was often seen as Perun, cleansing the world of evil spirits. But Perun was not only a god of destruction, he was also a protector, especially revered by warriors. In battle, Slavic warriors would call upon Perun for strength and victory, believing that his presence could turn the tide of any conflict. His association with oak trees, which were often struck by lightning, led to the belief that these trees were sacred to him. Shrines to Perun were often built in oak groves, and rituals would be held to honor him before important battles or during storms. One of the most famous stories involving Perun is his eternal conflict with Veles, the god of the underworld, and his sworn enemy. Bus would often sneak into Perun's domain to steal cattle, treasure, or even Perun's wife. Each time, Perun would chase Ve across the heavens, hurling his thunderbolts as Ve transformed into various animals to evade capture. This myth symbolized the eternal battle between order Perun and chaos. Ves with Perun always emerging victorious, but never fully eliminating his rival, in stark contrast to the sky-dwelling Perun. Veles ruled over the underworld, the realm of the dead, and was the god of the earth, livestock, and wealth, often depicted as a serpent or dragon. Veles was a trickster, a shapeshifter who could move between realms and shift forms at will. He was a god of contrast, a guardian of the dead, but also a god of fertility and the protector of herds. Veles was worshipped by farmers and herdsmen, who would pray to him for the protection of their animals and the fertility of their lands. He was also the god of magic, poetry, and music, often seen as the patron of BS and wizards. Despite his association with the underworld, Ve was not considered an evil deity. Instead, he was a necessary balance to Perun, representing the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The rivalry between Ve and Perun is one of the most enduring myths in Slavic folklore. Each year, Ve would emerge from the underworld to challenge Perun, often stealing something of great value, whether it be cattle, wealth, or even divine wisdom. In response, Perun would launch his thunderous assaults, and Ve would flee, shifting into various forms to escape his wrath, sometimes becoming a wolf, other times a snake, or even hiding among the roots of the world tree. Their battle, a metaphor for the changing seasons, would culminate in Perun's victory, restoring balance and bringing about the spring in another tale. Veles is also said to have once stolen the sun, plunging the world into darkness. For this he was cursed by the gods to remain in the underworld for most of the year, only able to surface during certain times, giving rise to the belief that the changing of the seasons was tied to Ve movements. Sarag, the god of the sun, fire, and blacksmithing, was one of the most ancient and revered deities in the Slavic pantheon, often portrayed as a wise and powerful craftsman. Sorrow was the creator of the world's most important tools and the master of divine fire. He was not just a god of the sun in the literal sense, but also the embodiment of the celestial fire that sustained life. Sorrow's role as a blacksmith made him the creator of civilization. In many ways it was through his divine for that the first tools were made, and it was said that he taught humans the secrets of metalworking, an art that would become the foundation of their societies. His hammer strikes could be heard in the thunder, and his forges fire was reflected in the burning sun that gave warmth to the earth. One of the most famous legends of Sorrow tells of how he captured the Zemi dragons that once roamed freely across the skies. Using his divine strength and skill, Sarag chained the dragons to the depths of the earth beneath the mountains, where they would no longer terrorize humanity. This act of subjugation of chaos and the elemental forces of the world is why Sorrow is often seen as the god who brought order to the universe. Another story speaks of Sorrow creating the first humans by breathing life into clay figures, shaping them as he would metal in his forge. This act of creation shows his role not just as a craftsman, but as a god of life itself, whose fire sparked the flame of humanity. In the pantheon dominated by male deities, Mokosh stood as the Great Mother, the protector of women's fertility and the earth. She was deeply connected to the land, the cycles of the seasons, and the natural world. Her influence extended into every home, where she was revered by women as the goddess who watched over childbirth, weaving, and the health of families. Mokosh was often depicted as a tall, imposing woman with large hands, capable of both nurturing and working the earth. She symbolized the fertile soil from which crops sprang and was often invoked during harvest festivals, where offerings would be made to ensure bountiful yields for the coming year. One of the most interesting tales surrounding Mose involves her relationship with the other gods. In some versions of the myths, she is said to be married to Perun, but also sought after by Ve. This connection to both the sky god and the underworld. God places her at the center of the cosmic balance, representing the link between life and death, creation and decay. Another legend tells of how Mokosh, in her guise as the Earth Mother, could feel the pain of every living thing upon her soil. When a tree was cut down, Mokosh wept. When a woman suffered in childbirth, Mokosh felt her pain, yet it was through these hardships that the earth remained fertile and life continued to flourish. Her strength came not from battle, but from endurance and resilience, embodying the quiet, powerful force of nature itself. Debo was the bright and benevolent sun god, often associated with wealth and prosperity as the bringer of light. He was seen as the source of all life and abundance, blessing the earth with warmth and ensuring that crops would grow. His chariot, drawn by white horses, carried the sun across the sky each day, bringing light to the world. Bug's generosity was legendary, and he was often invoked by those seeking fortune and success in some myths. He is portrayed as a king-like figure, ruling over a golden palace in the heavens, where the wealth of the earth was stored. He would dispense this wealth to those who honored him, rewarding their hard work with prosperity. One story tells of how Dabog fell in love with a mortal woman who was known for her kindness and beauty. In return for her love, Dasbug granted her people eternal summer, blessing their lands with endless harvests and prosperity. But when the woman grew old and passed away, Bug's grief plunged the world into winter, marking the first time the earth had seen the cold. This tale explains the changing of the seasons, with Bug's love and grief reflected in the cycle of warmth and frost. The goddess of beauty, love and marriage, was the Slavic counterpart to the Greek Aphrodite or the Roman Venus. She was worshipped by those seeking love, harmony and happiness in their relationships, often depicted as a radiant woman adorned with flowers. Lord symbolized youth, joy, and the ideal of romantic love. El's influence was felt during weddings, where she was invoked to bless the union and ensure that the couple would enjoy a long and happy life together. She was also associated with spring and the renewal of life, as love and fertility went hand in hand in the ancient Slavic world. In one of her most famous stories, El was pursued by Morozko, the winter god who sought to claim her beauty for himself. But El, the goddess of spring, could not be contained by the cold, and each time Morozko tried to seize her, she would slip away, her laughter melting the snow and ice in her wake. This constant pursuit and evasion marked the end of winter and the beginning of spring, with El triumphantly bringing warmth and life back to the earth beyond the major deities. The Slavic world was filled with lesser gods and nature spirits who played important roles in everyday life. Among the most well-known were the Domovoi, the house spirits who watched over families and protected their homes. Although they were generally benevolent, Domovoi could become mischievous if neglected, causing minor chaos in the household. Until proper offerings were made. Rusala, on the other hand, were water nymphs or spirits that lived in rivers and lakes. Though beautiful, they were also dangerous, known to lure men into the water with their songs, only to drown them. Some legends suggest that Rozalki were the spirits of young women who had died tragically, seeking vengeance on the living. These spirits, while not as powerful as the major gods, were deeply woven into the fabric of Slavic belief. They represented the unpredictable and often mysterious forces of nature, reminding people of the delicate balance between the seen and unseen worlds. Slavic mythology is a cosmic tale of balance, where the world is not a simple, singular realm, but a layered and intricate universe governed by divine forces. This cosmic structure is divided into three interconnected realms: Nav, Yov, and Prov. Each of these worlds plays a pivotal role in the Slavic understanding of existence, life, death, and the spiritual order that binds them all together. To fully appreciate the complexity of Slavic cosmology, we must venture into these realms and explore how they shaped the beliefs and lives of the ancient slaves. At the foundation of Slavic cosmology lies Nav, the underworld, a shadowy and mysterious realm governed by the god Veles. Nav is the world of the dead, where the spirits of those who have passed away reside. In Slavic belief, death was not the end, but a transition into this hidden world, a place beyond the physical plane. Unlike the Christian concept of hell, Nav was not necessarily a place of torment, but rather a realm where souls went to rest and reflect on their lives. Nav was a place of balance, not punishment. Souls could linger here for an eternity, awaiting rebirth or further judgment. Veles, as the ruler of this domain, acted as both a guardian and a guide for the departed. He was often depicted as a serpent or dragon slithering between the realms of life and death. The serpentine nature of Vus symbolized transformation and the cyclical nature of existence, life flowing into death and death into rebirth. One famous story in Slavic mythology recounts how Ve would sometimes allow souls to return to the physical world on special occasions, such as during the winter solstice or harvest festivals, when the boundaries between the living and the dead were thin. These times were seen as opportunities for ancestors to visit their descendants, offering protection, wisdom, or even warnings from the other side. Interestingly, Nav was not only a place for human souls, it was also believed to be the home of mythical creatures and lost spirits, some of whom could cross into the living world to influence the affairs of mortals. This belief gave rise to the cautionary tales of restless spirits and supernatural beings like Rousey Water spirits or the malevolent Bannock bathhouse spirits. Nav was a rich and eerie world hidden from the eyes of the living, yet eternally present. Above Nav lies Yav, the physical world, which is the realm of the living. It is where humans, animals, plants, and all tangible elements of nature exist. Yov represents the here and now, the world of sensory experience and material reality. The sun rises, crops grow, seasons change, and life unfolds in Yov. Under the watchful eyes of the gods who govern the forces of nature, Yov is where humans carry out their lives. Bound by time, mortality, and the cycles of nature, the slaves believed that the gods had a direct influence on Yov, intervening in both subtle and dramatic ways. Perun, the god of thunder, for example, would send storms and rain to nourish or punish the land. Debog, the sun god, would bring warmth and light, while Mokosh would nurture the fertility of the earth, ensuring a bountiful harvest. In this way, Yav was not just a place of physical existence, but a realm deeply intertwined with the divine. Despite being the realm of the living, Yav was not immune to the influence of the other worlds. The dead from Nav could sometimes cross over, and the gods from Prov, the spiritual realm, could manifest to guide or test humans. This interplay of forces made Yav a dynamic, unpredictable world filled with both beauty and danger. One intriguing belief about Yav was that every action in this world resonated in the others. When a tree was cut down in Yav, its roots in Nav would feel the impact. When humans prayed or made offerings to the gods, their intentions would ripple through Prov, affecting their spiritual destiny. Thus Yav was not an isolated existence, but part of a grander cosmic web where the physical, spiritual, and metaphysical worlds were inseparably linked. Above both Nav and Yav is Prov, the spiritual realm home to the divine laws that govern the universe. Prov was considered the highest and most sacred of the three. realms a place where the eternal truths of existence resided. It was not a physical location, but a realm of cosmic order and morality, where the actions of both gods and humans were judged. The Slab believed that everything in Yav and Nav was bound by the principles of Prov, and that living in accordance with these principles was essential for harmony. Prov was ruled by Rod, the supreme god who established the laws of the cosmos and ensured that balance was maintained across all realms in Prov. The destinies of both mortals and gods were written, and it was here that the ultimate decisions regarding fate were made. Prov was often seen as a realm of pure light and spiritual energy, a place where the gods resided in their most transcendent forms, overseeing the universe with wisdom and justice. The concept of truth and justice was central to Prov. The slaves believed that those who lived honorable, just lives in Yav would find favor in Tia, while those who acted with deceit or cruelty would face consequences not only in Yav, but in the spiritual afterlife as well. Prov was the realm that provided the moral compass for all beings, ensuring that the universe operated according to divine will. One famous tale speaks of how the gods lead by Perun descended from Prov to restore order after V attempts to sow chaos in the world. This myth represents the Slavic belief that Prov was the realm from which ultimate justice emanated, and the gods were its enforcers, stepping in when balance was threatened. At the heart of Slavic cosmology lies the concept of the world tree, a towering and sacred tree that connects Navjov and Prov, similar to the Norse Yggdrasil. The Slavic world tree represents the axis mundi, the central pillar of the universe linking all three realms and holding the cosmos together. Its roots extend deep into Nav, its trunk supports Yov, and its branches reach into the celestial heights of Prov. The slaves saw the world tree as a living entity, a cosmic bridge between life and death, the physical and spiritual, the mortal and the divine. This tree was not only a symbol of life and growth, but also of the interconnectedness of all things. Every part of the tree was essential to maintaining the balance of the universe, and if one part was harmed, the whole tree, and by extension, the entire cosmos, would suffer. In some legends, the oak was considered the physical manifestation of the world tree on earth, and it was revered as a sacred symbol of strength, endurance, and protection. Oaks were often struck by lightning, believed to be the sign of Perun's power, and were seen as divine vessels of cosmic energy. Shrines were often built around ancient oak trees, and offerings were made to the gods in their shade, acknowledging their connection to the divine or order of the universe. One of the most fascinating aspects of the world tree myth is its association with birds and serpents. In Slavic cosmology, birds often perched in the highest branches of the tree, symbolizing the souls of the righteous and the gods watching over the world. Meanwhile, serpents slithered among the roots, representing the forces of chaos, death, and the underworld. The eternal struggle between these two forces, the birds of Prov and the serpents of Nav, was a powerful metaphor for the balance of good and evil, life and death. The image of the world tree also had a direct influence on the way the slaves lived their lives, just as the tree's roots, trunk, and branches were all part of the same home. So too were human seed, as connected to the god's nature and the universe. This connection fostered a deep respect for the environment and for the natural cycles of life and death. It also reinforced the idea that human actions, no matter how small, could have far-reaching consequences across the cosmos. Slavic cosmology, with its division of Nav, Yav, and Prov, and the powerful image of the world tree, presents a vision of the universe as a deeply interconnected web. The physical world of Yov is not isolated from the spiritual realms, and every action in Yov echoes through Nav and Prov. The world tree stands as a living reminder of this cosmic unity connecting life, death, and the divine in a single, harmonious whole. For the ancient Slav, the cosmos was a living, breathing entity, where the forces of good and evil, order and chaos, life and death were constantly in flux. It was a world where the gods were ever present, guiding and shaping the fate of both mortals and the universe itself. This intricate cosmology formed the backbone of their mythology, influencing their rituals, their stories, and their understanding of the world around them. As we continue our journey through Slavic mythology, we will see how these cosmic forces manifest in the myths and legends of God's heroes and mythical creatures, from the battles of Perun and Veles to the creation of the world by Rod. These stories are deeply rooted in the Slavic understanding of a universe that is as mysterious as it is ordered, as chaotic as it is beautiful. The heart of any mythology lies in its stories, epic battles between gods, tragic love affairs, and the daring journeys of heroes who face insurmountable odds. Slavic mythology is no exception. It is brimming with tales of god and mortals clashing in timeless struggles, not just for survival, but to uphold cosmic balance. Let's explore some of the most captivating stories in Slavic mythology, where the eternal dance between order and chaos unfolds. The changing of the seasons is celebrated, and heroes embark on perilous adventures that define their legacies. One of the most iconic tales in Slavic mythology is the eternal battle between Perun, the mighty god of thunder, and lightning, and Veles, the cunning god of the underworld, earth, and livestock. This cosmic rivalry symbolizes the constant struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness, heaven and earth. It's a story that reflects not just the forces of nature, but the moral dichotomy that defines the Slavic worldview. Perun, often depicted as a fierce warrior armed with a mighty axe or hammer, rules the skies. His thunderbolts are said to strike with the force of divine justice, maintaining the natural order and protecting the realm of the living. Veles, on the other hand, is a shapeshifter, a trickster who resides in the murky depths of the underworld, where he governs death, sorcery, and the chaotic forces of nature. He often takes the form of a serpent or dragon, creatures that slither between the realms, defying the clear boundaries of Perun's domain. The myth begins with Veles' audacious theft. He steals livestock, treasures, or even people from Perun's domain, bringing them into the underworld. This act of theft is not just a literal robbery, it symbolizes chaos, disrupting the natural order of things. In response, Perun rises in fury, unleashing storms and hurling lightning bolts to chase Veles across the world. The chase is intense as Veles slither through rivers, forests, and mountains, trying to escape Perun's wrath. In many versions of the story, Veles transforms into various animals, a wolf, a bull, or even a bird, using his shapeshifting abilities to evade capture. But no matter where he goes, Perun's thunder always finds him. The confrontation between the two gods often takes place in the skies, where thunder and lightning are seen as Perun striking at Veles. This battle of wills rages on endlessly, with Veles always managing to survive but never fully defeating Perun. The battle between Perun and Veles is not just a cosmic fight, it reflects the changing of the seasons and the natural cycle of life. When Perun defeats Veles, order is restored, symbolizing the arrival of summer when the land is fertile and bountiful. But as autumn and winter approach, Veles's influence grows, representing the chaos and decay that accompanies the dying of the year. This eternal struggle mirrors the Slavic belief that life is a balance between opposing forces, each necessary to the other one. Popular legend tells of Perun's ultimate victory over Veles, where he finally traps the serpent in the roots of the world tree, but even in captivity, Ve continues to stir chaos from the underworld, ensuring that their battle is never truly over. This tale encapsulates the Slavic understanding of the universe. While order may prevail for a time, chaos is never far behind, always ready to challenge the stability of the world. The myth of the marriage between Dabog, the radiant sun god, and El, the goddess of beauty, love, and fertility, is a tale that represents the cyclical nature of the seasons and the fertility of the land in Slavic mythology. Their union is not just a romantic story, it is a divine act that ensures the prosperity of the earth and the renewal of life. Each year, Dabo, whose golden chariot pulls the sown across the sky, is a symbol of warmth, light, and abundance. He is the provider, the one who ensures that crops grow, that life flourishes, and that darkness is kept at bay. El, on the other hand, embodies the earth's beauty, the nurturing qualities of love, and the regenerative powers of fertility. Together, their union is the cosmic force that brings the world into balance, ensuring that the seasons flow in harmony and that the land is fruitful. The myth of their marriage unfolds during the spring, a time when the world awakens from the long slumber of winter. It is said that El's beauty was so radiant that even Dabog, the great sun god, was humbled by her presence. He courted her with gifts of light and warmth, and their love blossomed in the blossoming fields and forests of Yov. The physical world, their wedding was celebrated with great joy, not just by the gods, but by all of creation, as animals, plants, and even rivers and mountains rejoiced in their union. However, like many divine marriages in mythology, their relationship was not without its challenges. One tale speaks of a time when Dabog light grew too intense, scorching the earth and threatening to destroy the very life he had promised to nurture. Eldon, seeing the suffering of the land, intervened. She gently reminded Dabog of the balance that must be maintained and convinced him to temper his power, allowing the seasons to change naturally. Their relationship is said to embody the delicate balance between passion and restraint, a balance necessary for life to thrive in spring and summer, when Dabo's light is at its peak. El's fertility ensures that the earth is bountiful and life thrives, but as autumn approaches, GB's light wanes, allowing El to prepare the land for the quiet rest of winter, when the earth lies torrent, awaiting rebirth. In some versions of the myth, their marriage is renewed each year, a divine ritual that marks the changing of the seasons. Their love is the force that ensures that winter will always give way to spring, that life will always return after death. This cyclical nature of their relationship mirrors the cycles of planting and harvest, birth and death, love and loss, which are central to the Slavic understanding of existence. The marriage of Dobog and El is not just a story of love, but a reminder of the interdependence of life's forces. Without the light of Dabog, the earth would be barren, and without the fertility of Eldor, the light would have nothing to nourish. Together, they represent the unity of the masculine and feminine, the solar and the earthly, the forces that drive the natural world. No mythology would be complete without its heroes, figures who embody the ideals of bravery, strength, and cunning in Slavic mythology. These legendary heroes are not just warriors. They are champions who defend the land, uphold justice, and often serve as intermediaries between the mortal world and the gods. Two of the most famous heroes in Slavic lore are Dobran Nikes and Ivan Tsarevich. Doing Nikes, a mighty Bogotan Nitara, is celebrated for his incredible strength, loyalty, and unwavering sense of honor. One of his most famous stories is the slaying of the dragon Esmigorish, a fearsome three-headed serpent that terrorized the land. The tale begins when Dobran, on a mission from Prince Vladimir, is tasked with rescuing a maiden who has been captured by the dragon Dobar's journey to the dragon's lair is filled with challenges, as he must cross treacherous rivers, scale towering mountains, and face supernatural obstacles. Along the way he encounters various magical creatures, some of whom offer help, while others seek to deceive him in a final climactic battle. Dobrin confronts Exemigoronich, using his wits and brute strength to defeat the beast and free the captive. Maiden, this story, like many hero myths, represents the triumph of good over evil, of bravery over fear, and of human perseverance. In the face of overwhelming odds, but Perun is not just a warrior, he is also a diplomat and a protector of the weak. Embodying the ideal of noble service to the people and the gods, his tales often emphasize the importance of humility, wisdom, and respect for the forces of nature, showing that true heroism lies not just in strength, but in understanding one's place in the world. Ivan Zarovich, another celebrated hero, is known for his adventures in the magical, otherworldly realms of Slavic folklore. One of his most famous stories involves his quest to find the Firebird, a mystical creature with glowing feathers, said to grant wishes or bring great fortune. Ivan's journey takes him through enchanted forests, past ancient castles, and into the realm of the supernatural, where he encounters various magical beings, including the cunning Baba Yaga and the mysterious Grywolf. Throughout his adventures, Ivan Zarovich is not just guided by his bravery, but also by his intelligence and kindness. In many versions of the story, he forms alliances with Krias and spirits who offer him aid in exchange for his compassion. The Firebird, symbolic of hope, renewal, and the pursuit of wisdom, ultimately teaches Ivan that true power lies not in possession, but in the understanding of life's deeper mysteries. Together, the tales of Dobrin, Nikiti, and Ivan Zarovich remind us that heroism is more than physical strength or martial prowess. It is the ability to face the unknown, to fight for justice, and to seek out the mysteries that lie beyond the mortal world. Their journeys, like those of heroes in every mythos, inspire us to confront our own challenges, to embrace the unknown, and to pursue our own paths toward greatness. In the vibrant tapestry of Slavic mythology, festivals and rituals are not merely events marked on a calendar. They are sacred celebrations that connect the physical world with the spiritual realm. These occasions serve as a bridge between the gods and humanity, a time when the community comes together to honor the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth through music, dance, offerings, and communal gatherings. The Slavs celebrated the changing seasons, invoking the blessings of their gods. Two of the most significant festivals in the Slavic calendar are Kopa Night, celebrating the summer solstice, and Kada, honoring the winter solstice. Each festival is steeped in symbolism and tradition, showcasing the importance of fire, water, and earth in Slavic rituals. As the sun reaches its zenith during the summer solstice, the slaves gather to celebrate Kopa Night, or even Kopa, a festival brimming with joy, fertility, and the enchanting allure of nature. Traditionally held on the night of July the 6th, this festival marks the height of summer, when the days are longest and the fields are ripe for harvest. It is a time of unity with nature, reflecting the Slavic reverence for the earth and its cycles. The origins of Kopa Night are deeply rooted in ancient pagan traditions, and while many customs have evolved over time, the spirit of the festival remains a celebration of life and love. The night begins with ceremonial bonfires that blaze against the darkening sky, illuminating the faces of revelers who gather to partake in the festivities. Fire is a central element of this celebration, symbolizing purification, fertility, and the strength of the sun, which is believed to be at its peak during this time. As the flames crackle and dance, young men and women join hands to form a ring around the fire, singing traditional songs and performing dances that pay Homage to the merry spirit of koala. One popular tradition involves jumping over the fire, a test of courage and faith. Couples who leap over the flames together are believed to be blessed with happiness and prosperity in their relationship. The fire is not just a source of warmth, it represents the passion and energy of life itself. Water too plays a vital role in Kapar night as the night unfolds. Participants often create floral wreaths adorned with wildflowers, herbs, and leaf symbols of love, fertility, and beauty. These wreaths are then placed upon the water, drifting downstream to seek out the water spirits and to find a potential partner for the year ahead. The act of floating wreaths is a way to invite the spirits to bless their lives with love and prosperity. Another enchanting custom associated with Kapala KNC is the search for the mythical fernflower. According to legend, the fern blooms only for a fleeting moment on this night, granting immense power and fortune to anyone who can find it. Young people venture into the woods, guided by the stars and the magic of the night, hoping to uncover this elusive flower. The search for the fernflower reflects the youthful desire for discovery and adventure, reminding participants of the importance of dreams and aspirations. As dawn breaks, the revelers gather by the water's edge to cleanse themselves in the morning dew, believing that it holds healing properties. This act symbolizes the renewal of life and the hope that springs forth with the arrival of each new day. Kapala night serves not only as a celebration of summer, but as a reminder of the interconnectedness of nature, love, and the eternal cycle of life. As the year draws to a close and the longest night envelops the land, the slaves prepare to celebrate Kada, the winter solstice festival that marks the rebirth of the sun, held around December 21st. Kada is a time of reflection, gratitude, and hope, symbolizing the return of light after the dark, cold months of winter. This festival embodies the essence of community, as families and neighbors come together to honor the sun and invoke its warmth for the year to come. Calling Ada is steeped in ancient traditions, many of which have been adapted over time but still resonate with the same themes of light and renewal. The celebrations typically begin with the lighting of bonfires, reminiscent of Kapala night, but with a more solemn purpose. The fire represents the sun's strength, a beacon that chases away the darkness and heralds the promise of longer days ahead. Participants gather around the fire, sharing stories, songs, and folklore passed down through generations, reinforcing the bonds of community and the importance of shared heritage. One of the most captivating aspects of Kolyada is the caroling tradition, where groups of children and young adults travel from house to house, singing songs of praise and joy. Dressed in colorful costumes and adorned with stars or symbolic masks, these carolers spread cheer and blessings to their neighbors. In return, they are often rewarded with sweets, fruits, and small gifts, fostering a sense of camaraderie and goodwill within the community. At the heart of Kada is the symbolism of rebirth. The festival honors the sun's return as the days begin to lengthen, signaling the end of winter and the approach of spring. Special foods such as poppy seed cakes and honey are prepared and shared among families, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. The act of sharing meals emphasizes the importance of unity and gratitude, reminding participants of the blessings they have received over the past year. One popular tradition during Kolyada involves the creation of a Kolyada doll, a handmade effigy crafted from straw, adorned with colorful ribbons and grains. This doll is believed to embody the spirit of fertility and abundance, serving as a protector of the household. Families place the Kada doll near their doorways, inviting blessings into their home for the coming year. At the festival's conclusion, the doll is often burned or buried, symbolizing the release of the past year and the welcoming of new beginnings. Kada also serves as a time for introspection, where individuals reflect on the challenges and triumphs of the year. People take the opportunity to express gratitude for the warmth of family and friends, recognizing the importance of community support during the harsh winter months. It is a time of renewal where hopes and dreams for the upcoming year are articulated, fostering a sense of optimism and resilience through its rituals and customs. Kada reinforces the belief that while darkness may dominate for a time, the light will always return, bringing with it new opportunities and the promise of life. This festival exemplifies the Slavic understanding of the cyclical nature of existence, where each ending is but a prelude to a new beginning. In Slavic mythology, the elements of fire, water, and earth hold profound significance, serving as essential components of rituals and festivals. Each element embodies distinct qualities and represents different aspects of life, weaving together the fabric of the Slavic worldview. Fire, as seen in both Kapala night and Koloda, symbolizes purification, transformation, and the vital energy of the sun. It is a powerful force that can create or destroy, embodying the duality of existence. The rituals surrounding fire, such as jumping over bonfires and lighting candles, are expressions of humanity's desire to harness its energy for healing, protection, and celebration. Fire brings people together, serving as a focal point for community gatherings, storytelling, and the sharing of traditions. Water, revered as a source of life, healing, and renewal, plays a critical role in Slavic rituals. It is associated with fertility, growth, and the cyclical nature of existence. The use of water in ceremonies such as floating wreaths during Koala night reflects the belief in its purifying and restorative qualities. Water serves as a medium for connection with the spiritual realm, allowing participants to communicate with water spirits and invoke their blessings. Earth, the foundation of life, presents stability, nourishment, and the cycle of life and death. Slavic rituals often incorporate elements of the earth, such as grains, herbs, and flowers, highlighting the importance of agriculture and the connection between humanity and the land. Festivals like Kopa Night celebrate the earth's fertility, while Kada acknowledges the earth's role in sustaining life through the changing seasons. Together, fire, water, and earth create a harmonious balance, symbolizing the interconnectedness of all life. The rituals and festivals of Slavic mythology remind us that these elements are not mere physical substances. They are alive with spirit and meaning, shaping the world and our place within it. As the slaves gather to celebrate the turning of the seasons, they reaffirm their bond with nature, embracing the cycles of life, love, and renewal that define the human experience. Through these vibrant festivals and rich rituals, the essence of Slavic mythology lives on, inviting us to reflect on the profound wisdom of the past, while celebrating the beauty of life in all its forms. In the heart of Slavic mythology lies a rich tapestry of nature, spirits, and supernatural creatures that inhabit the forests, rivers, and homes. These beings, often seen as guardians or harbingers of change, reflect humanity's relationship with the natural world. They embody the mysteries and wonders of the wilderness, serving as reminders of the forces that govern life and death, from the enigmatic Lay, the whimsical Domovoi, to the fearsome Baba Yaga. These spirits offer a glimpse into the complex interplay between nature and humanity. Deep within the ancient woodlands, where the trees stretch high and the undergrowth thrives, dwells the Leshy, the guardian spirit of the forest, with the ability to shapeshift into various forms, including that of a tall man or a magnificent tree. The Leshy embodies the wild and untamed nature of the woods. His skin is often said to be the color of bark, and his hair resembles The leaves that flutter above, he is both protector and trickster, watching over the animals and plants that call the forest home. The Lee's role as guardian extends. Beyond mere protection, he is also a keeper of balance. He ensures that hunters respect the sanctity of the woods and only take what they need to cross paths with the Lee. Is to enter a world governed by ancient laws, where respect for nature is paramount. If a hunter ventures too far into the forest without showing reverence, the less may play tricks to confuse them, leading them in circles, or even changing the landscape to keep them at bay. However, the Lee is not solely a figure of fear. He is known for his playful nature, often engaging with those who enter his domain. Travelers who show kindness to the forest by leaving offerings of bread or tobacco may find themselves rewarded with good fortune or for a successful hunt. In stories passed down through generations, the Lee is depicted as a friend to those who respect his woods, guiding lost souls back to safety, or providing them with vital knowledge about the natural world. One of the most fascinating tales about the Lee tells of a group of hunters who, in their arrogance, sought to take more than they needed. The Lee, displeased by their disrespect, enchanted the forest. To confuse them, no matter how far they walked, they remained lost among the trees, realizing their folly. They finally sat down, offered a humble prayer, and promised to honor the forest. At that moment the Lee appeared before them, revealing a hidden path leading to their village. The hunters returned forever changed by their encounter, understanding the importance of living in harmony with nature, while the Lee guards the wild expanses of the forest. The Domovoi serves as the spirit of the household, watching over families and their abodes. This small, often invisible spirit dwells in the hearth, the very heart of the home, ensuring that the household runs smoothly. The Domovoi is typically depicted as a benevolent figure, resembling a small old man with a long beard, who takes on a more comforting, nurturing role compared to other spirits. The presence of a Domovoi is considered a blessing. Families often leave small offerings of bread, milk, or other food items to keep the Domovoi happy. In return, he ensures the health and prosperity of the household, protecting it from misfortune, illness, and malevolent forces. The Domovoi has a unique connection with the family, often developing a bond with the children, whom he delights in watching grow. However, the Domovoi can also be temperamental. If a household is filled with discord, neglect, or disrespect, such as failing to keep the home tidy or arguing loud, the Domovoi may become angry. This can lead to mischief, like moving objects, causing minor accidents, or even making unsettling noises at night to remind the inhabitants of their obligations to restore harmony. Families must recognize their missteps and make amends through kind gestures and offerings. One delightful story speaks of a clever Domovoi who saved a family from ruin when the father of the household fell ill and could no longer work. The Domovoi decided to intervene in the dead of night. He would sneak out and help with chores, tending to the farm and caring for the animals. As the father slowly regained his strength, he was astonished to find his home thriving. Despite his absence, one evening the father caught a glimpse of the deity, who playfully waved and quickly vanished into the shadows, grateful for the spirit's assistance. The family dedicated a small corner of their home as a shrine to honor him, ensuring his continued protection and support. Among the most captivating and complex figures in Slavic mythology is Baba Yaga, the enigmatic witch who embodies the dualities of life and death, creation and destruction. She is often depicted as a frightful old woman with iron teeth and a wild mane of hair, living in a hut that stands on chicken legs. This hut can spin around, making it a challenge for anyone to approach it without her permission. Baba Yaga is both feared and revered. She represents the untamed aspects of nature and the primal forces of life. Baba Yaga is known for her cunning and capricious nature. While she may appear malevolent, She often serves as a guide or teacher to those who seek her out. Many heroes in Slavic folklore embark on quests that lead them to her doorstep, hoping to gain wisdom or assistance. However, they must be prepared to navigate her tests of character and resolve. For Baba Yaga is a master of riddles and challenges. In one famous tale, a young girl named Vasilisa ventures into the forest to seek Baba Yaga's help after being mistreated by her stepmother, armed with a magical doll given to her by her deceased mother. Vasilisa must complete a series of seemingly impossible tasks set by Baba Yaga, such as sorting a mountain of grains or fetching fire from the depths of the forest. Through determination and the guidance of her doll, Vasilisa impresses Baba Yaga, who ultimately grants her the wisdom and fire she sought. Yet Baba Yaga is not solely a figure of assistance. She also holds dominion over death and transformation. In many stories, she serves as a guide to the afterlife, welcoming souls who have passed on and are offering them the chance to reflect on their lives. In this role, she symbolizes the inevitable cycle of life, where death is not an end but a transformation. The ambiguous nature of Baba Yaga's character adds to her allure, making her a fascinating figure in Slavic folklore. She embodies the wildness of nature, the wisdom of the ages, and the inevitability of change. Many tales encourage respect for her, for while she may offer aid, she also has the power to unleash chaos in the Slavic world. Via the presence of nature spirits and supernatural creatures serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of life, each being from the mischievous Domovoi to the wise Baba Yaga contributes to the intricate balance of existence. They reflect the rich traditions and beliefs of a culture that values harmony with the natural world, embracing both its beauty and its mysteries. As we explore the stories and teachings of these spirits, we gain insight into the complexities of life, reminding us that within the shadows there is often wisdom to be found, and within the chaos the seeds of transformation, or the interplay between humanity and the supernatural shapes the Slavic narrative, inviting us to consider our own relationship with nature and the unseen forces that influence our lives. The arrival of Christianity in Slavic lands marked a significant turning point in the spiritual landscape of the region. As the new faith spread, it brought with it a wave of transformation that would reshape the existing pagan beliefs and practices deeply rooted in the cultural fabric of Slavic societies. This chapter explores the impact of Christianity on Slavic pagan beliefs and how the merging of these two traditions resulted in a unique and complex tapestry of spiritual practices that continue to resonate today. When Christianity began to take root in Slavic territories during the 9th century, it encountered a rich and diverse system of beliefs that had flourished for centuries. The Slavic pantheon, filled with gods and goddesses representing natural forces, fertility, and the cycles of life, faced challenges from the new monotheistic faith missionaries and rulers promoted Christianity as a means of unifying the various tribes and regions. But the transition was not without conflict. The early Christian missionaries recognized the deeply entrenched pagan beliefs and sought ways to convert the populace while respecting their traditions. As a result, Christianity did not merely replace paganism, it adapted and integrated elements of it. This approach allowed for a smoother transition, as many slaves were reluctant to abandon the familiar rituals and deities they had worshipped for generations. Instead of erasing the old ways, Christianity often built upon them, creating a blend of practices that preserved elements of the pagan past. One of the most striking aspects of this transformation was the reinterpretation of the natural world. In paganism, the slaves viewed nature as sacred, filled with spirits and deities that governed every aspect of life. With the advent of Christianity, this connection to nature was often reframed within the context of God's creation. The natural world became a manifestation of God's power and presence, yet many ancient practices remained embedded in the new faith. As a result, significant pagans, celebrations, and rituals were incorporated into the Christian calendar. For example, many springtime festivals, originally dedicated to fertility and rebirth, were transformed into celebrations of Easter. Similarly, the winter solstice traditions evolved into Christmas celebrations, blending elements of both faiths into vibrant festivities that honored the cycles of nature while also celebrating the Christian narrative. The syncretism of pagan and Christian traditions led to a fascinating phenomenon: the transformation of pagan deities into Christian saints. Many of the old gods were reimagined as figures within the Christian framework, allowing the populace to maintain a sense of familiarity while embracing the new faith. This process of assimilation was often guided by the desire to make Christianity more accessible to the slaves. For instance, Perun, the thunder god and chief deity of the Slavic pantheon, was often equated with Saint Elijah, who was associated with thunder and rain in the Christian tradition. Saint Elijah's feast day coincided with the old pagan festivals that honored Perun, effectively merging the two figures into one cultural celebration. This allowed the slaves to honor their traditional beliefs, while simultaneously embracing the teachings of Christianity. Similarly, Mos, the goddess of fertility and the earth, found her place within the Christian context as a protector of women and children. In some regions, she was associated with the Virgin Mary, whose role as a nurturing mother resonated with Mash's tributes. This transformation highlighted the importance of motherhood and family, allowing women to maintain a connection to their spiritual heritage while adhering to Christian values. The merging of traditions did not occur uniformly across the Slavic world. It varied from region to region. In some areas, older customs remained deeply embedded in everyday life, influencing rituals, folk tales, and community gatherings. For example, the practice of celebrating Kapala Night, a festival honoring the summer solstice, retained many elements of its pagan origins, such as the lighting of bonfires and the search for the mythical fernflower, believed to bring good fortune. As Christianity became more established, however, the Church sought to distance itself from pagan practices deemed contrary to Christian teachings. This led to a complex relationship between the two belief systems, where certain traditions were encouraged, while others were actively discouraged or demonized. The figure of Baba Yaga, for instance, transformed from a powerful witch with deep ties to nature and the spiritual realm into a symbol of witchcraft and chaos in the Christian narrative. Despite this shift, her stories persisted in folklore, illustrating the resilience of pagan narratives over time. The blend of pagan and Christian traditions gave rise to a unique cultural identity within Slavic societies. Festivals, rituals, and local customs began to reflect this syncretism, showcasing the ways in which the two belief systems coexist. Add the integration of Christian saints into the old pantheon created a new hierarchy of revered figures, where saints took on roles similar to those of the ancient gods, serving as protectors and intercessors for the people. The legacy of this fusion can still be observed in contemporary Slavic cultures, where ancient customs and Christian practices intertwined seamlessly, from folk art and music to seasonal celebrations. The enduring influence of both pagan and Christian traditions can be seen in the vibrant tapestry of Slavic cultural heritage. In recent years, there has been a remarkable revival of interest in Slavic mythology and paganism, often referred to as rodin noi. This resurgence is a response to the modernization of society and a desire to reconnect with ancestral roots. The ancient beliefs, once relegated to the shadows of history, are now finding their way back into the cultural consciousness of Slavic peoples. This chapter delves into the revival of Slavic paganism and its influence on modern Slavic cultures. Literature and media. Rodnovery, which translates to native faith, is a contemporary movement seeking to revive and reconstruct the ancient Slavic religious practices and beliefs. This revival began in the late 20th century, particularly following the collapse of the Soviet Union, when people began to explore their cultural heritage and spiritual roots as national identities were reasserted. Many sought to reclaim the rich tapestry of Slavic mythology that had been suppressed under centuries of foreign influence, particularly during the Christianization of the slaves. Modern Radon Noi is not a monolithic belief system. It encompasses a diverse range of practices and interpretations. Some adherents focus on ceremonial rituals, worshipping the gods and goddesses of the Slavic pantheon, while others emphasize the importance of nature and the earth as sacred celebrations. Of ancient festivals, such as Kup Night and Kada, have regained popularity, providing communities with opportunities to come together, celebrate their heritage, and honor the cycles of nature. Rodnovi practitioners often gather in nature, holding ceremonies that involve offerings to the gods, invoking blessings for fertility, health, and prosperity. These rituals often include the lighting of bonfires, singing traditional songs, and performing dances that echo the celebrations of ancient times. In this way, the revival of Slavic paganism is not just a return to the past, it is a dynamic expression of cultural identity and spirituality that resonates with contemporary values. The revival has also sparked interest in the historical and mythological aspects of Slavic culture. Many Rodov practitioners engage in research and study, striving to reconstruct ancient rituals and beliefs accurately. This pursuit often leads to a rich exploration of folklore as stories of gods, heroes, and supernatural creatures are re-examined and reinterpreted for modern audiences. Through this lens, Slavic mythology becomes a living tradition woven into the fabric of contemporary life. The resurgence of interest in Slavic mythology is not confined to religious practices, it has also permeated various aspects of modern Slavic cultures, influencing literature, art, and media. Authors and artists are increasingly drawing inspiration from ancient myths and folklore, integrating these themes into their work to explore contemporary issues and express cultural identity in literature. Modern Slavic authors have embraced the rich symbolism and narratives of their mythological heritage. Novels and stories that weave together ancient tales with contemporary themes have gained popularity. These works often reflect the struggles and triumphs of modern life while drawing on the timeless wisdom of Slavic mythology. For instance, writers have revisited classic tales of heroes and gods, reinterpreting them in light of modern values and challenges. This blending of the ancient and the contemporary invites readers to engage with their cultural roots while addressing relevant social and existential questions. In addition to literature, Slavic mythology has made significant inroads into the world of film and television. Many directors and producers have sought to capture the essence of Slavic folklore on screen, creating visually stunning adaptations of mythical tales. Films that portray the epic battles between gods and monsters, as well as stories of heroic figures, have become increasingly popular, resonating with audiences both at home and abroad. These cinematic representations not only entertain but also serve as a vehicle for cultural education, bringing ancient stories to life for new generations. Video games have also emerged as a platform for exploring Slavic mythology. Developers have created immersive gaming experiences that incorporate elements of Slavic folklore, allowing players to engage with the mythological world in interactive ways. These games often feature quests that involve ancient gods, mythical creatures, and heroic challenges, providing a modern twist on classic tales. As players navigate these fantastical realms, they gain insights into the values, beliefs, and narratives that shaped Slavic culture. Moreover, Slavic mythology has found its way into contemporary art. Artists are increasingly using mythological themes and motifs to express their ideas and emotions, from paintings and sculptures to installations and performances. The influence of ancient myths can be seen in the creative works of both established and emerging artists. This artistic engagement with mythology serves to keep these ancient narratives alive, reinterpreting them for modern audiences and ensuring their relevance in today's world. In popular culture, the revival of interest in Slavic mythology has also led to the emergence of festivals and gatherings that celebrate this rich heritage. Events dedicated to Slavic folklore and pagan traditions attract enthusiasts from all over, fostering a sense of community and connection among those who share a passion for their cultural roots. These gatherings often feature music, dance, storytelling, and workshops, creating a vibrant atmosphere that honors the past while looking toward the future. As the revival of Slavic paganism continues to grow, it challenges the narrative of a homogenized cultural identity. Instead, it emphasizes the importance of diversity, tradition, and the resilience of cultural heritage. The influence of Slavic mythology in modern times serves as a reminder that ancient stories are not merely relics of the past. They are living narratives that can inspire and guide us today. In conclusion, the revival of Slavic mythology and paganism in modern times reflects a deep desire to reconnect with ancestral roots and embrace cultural identity. This resurgence has influenced various aspects of Slavic cultures, including literature, art, and media, as contemporary creators draw inspiration from the rich tapestry of mythological narratives. Through this blend of the ancient and the modern, Slavic mythology continues to thrive, reminding us of the enduring power of storytelling and the importance of honoring our cultural heritage. Understanding Slavic mythology is not just an exploration of ancient stories. It is a pathway to grasping the essence of Slavic identity and the enduring connection to nature, community, and spirituality. In today's world, where cultures often blend and evolve, the wisdom found in these myths continues to resonate, inspiring a revival that connects modern individuals. This concludes our journey from the deep forests and divine wars of Slavic mythology. We learned that for the Slavs, every tree and every storm is part of a sacred story. The threads woven by the goddesses of fate carry our life toward an inevitable end. This mythology is one of the most rooted beliefs of pre-Christian Europe. After learning these secrets, don't forget to subscribe for our next adventure.